My name is Jon S. I am 32 years old as of 2 days ago. I live in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, originally out of Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I am an accounting manager for a hotel chain, as well as a music venue. I love to surf, go to the beach, swim. I'm a huge Survivor fan. I've been watching since 2000 when Borneo came out. I did take a short hiatus while I was in high school, college. I didn't really follow it as closely, but I fell back in love over the pandemic. So this is my second venture into the LRG world. I participated in Survivor in season 1 in September of 2021. With Survivor in itself, I went in with really no expectations whatsoever. But it ended up being like a really fun, life-changing experience. If I could be the opposite of humble, I think I genuinely dominated the game in almost every facet. I made it to the final 3, having won the final immunity challenge, chose to bring the people that came with me, and I ultimately lost due to what I would say was a very poor final tribal council, and Jack took home the victory. I lost for a couple different reasons in my mind. One, I was the wheeler and dealer of my alliance, while most of the other people chose to sit back while I kind of did the dirty work. I was the one who was playing the middleman, fake flipping, working with the other tribe who was trying to actively work against us and making them think that I was their friend. I ultimately put myself in a pretty difficult position where by like the final 6, I was in a lose-lose. There was a lot of heckling and a lot of booing and a lot of people that weren't happy that I was doing well. So from that point on, I kind of leaned into like being the heel. I leaned into being the bad guy. I tried to go into tribal and be who I thought they wanted me to be, in which case I thought maybe that would give me a win. And I was so dead wrong. I wish I hadn't done that. I might have been doing a better job in that situation where I may have gotten an extra vote or two that could have swayed everything. Ideally, I think it'd be great if I could play with nobody that I knew. I think that'd be really nice because, like I said, I like the purist aspect. If I can go in and not know anything about Jesse, then that's great. But let's say going into the game, Jesse and I are friends, and I find out in that day, like, oh crap, good to see you, Jesse. I would like to try and work with them just because there's like that level of comfort. But at the same time, if I could use an example from my past, when I played Survivor and going into it, I personally knew probably 4 people really well. One of them was Sandy. Anyone who knows what happened in Survivor knows that she walked out screaming, "You're dead to me, John," throwing her idol in the fake fire, and continued to heckle me throughout the remainder of the game, continued to turn people against me.
The next person voted out, Sandy. Well, congratulations to our final 7, John.
I don't want to get rid of anybody. This really sucks, to be honest, even though it seems like I'm in a good spot.
Keep your opinions to yourself back there. Thank you.
And we're still friends. So I don't really have an issue doing that to a friend. Because I do think, now getting into the second part, the morals, I think it's just a game. I really do think it's just people that get too butthurt about it, I think are taking it too seriously. Of course, I want to freaking win. I don't want to come here and be the second person out. That would suck. I'd be devastated. But at the same time, if it happens, it happens. It's a game. If someone lies to me and they knock me out, kudos. But yeah, I have no problem lying, cheating, saying dude, I will never write your name down, Will. I promise you're with me, and then writing your name down the next tribal. I don't care. Favorite season ever? I mean, I love OG Survivor more than anything. The first 10 seasons is what I would say is the OG era. Season 3 has always been my favorite. I'm an Ethan Zahn stan through and through. He's my favorite player of all time. He's always been someone who I've wanted to model, honestly, not even just my game, but just life after. He's such a cool, calm, collected guy. People like him. He doesn't cause a ton of drama, which is something that I did do in my first Survivor season, something I'm going to maybe not do the same in a second LRG go. The only downside of that is that's not super fun. I feel part of playing Survivor is you want to have fun, right? And I feel in the first go round when I played Survivor and I'm not going to say I played a Tony game. I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I think I played a LRG level fake Tony game where I was playing kind of loud, aggressive. I did have my bag of tricks with an idol, with an extra vote, etc. I think ideally I would like to find like a nice middle ground. I don't know exactly what that means. I've been trying to think. I've been watching a lot of Survivor recently, and I've been spanning each era. So like, 1 through 10, 10 through 20, etc., up through the new era. The one thing that I've been trying to keep in mind, though, is this is probably not going to be a very old era, old school game. I'm assuming there's probably going to be twists and idols and things along those lines, in which case I have been really focusing on more like the 20s and the 30s with regards to like watching players, seeing what they're doing, and trying to pick up the things that I like about what they're playing, about how they're playing, and the things that I don't like, and kind of mold my own path from there. I mean, it sounds like Exile Island. Like, I'm sure that if it is that, I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm sure it's not that cut and dry, but the first time I ever heard it, I thought it's got to be some sort of Exile Island twist. That's where my mind's at. I'm imagining there's going to be some sort of mechanic at play where it's, once again, I could be totally off base and wrong, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be smaller tribes, depending on how many people you have, anywhere between 2, 3, 4 tribes of small groups with nowhere to hide. Like, if you don't win immunities and keep your tribe strong, you're going to dwindle down, and regardless of how well you're playing, you're going home. Sorry. That's my guess. I'm not really 100% positive, of course. I wanted to prepare for it genuinely as if I was like preparing for Survivor, because that's part of why I'm doing this. I want to get experience. So if I ever do have the fortune of living on my dream on the island, I have, some sort of like minor leagues to look back on. However, I broke my wrist 2 months ago. I just got my cast off a week ago, and I'm still not 100%, but I will be within like 2 weeks. So that kind of screwed up my prep physically. I didn't get to spend nearly as much time in the gym as I wanted. However, I did try and stay active, with cardio, with legs, just that way I could stay in good shape in general. Mentally, I've been doing a lot of puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles, word puzzles, 3D on my phone, slide, you name it, I'm playing it. And then otherwise, I've just been watching a lot of Survivor, which is something that I'm always doing anyway. I've just been watching it with a finer tooth comb. I mean, once you're caught with your hand in the cookie jar, you just kind of have to lean into it. I feel like it's so cringy whenever you see someone that like gets caught and they try and like, no, I don't, it was just a rock, bro. I don't know. Like, it's so fake. So while I do think that the best way to handle like an advantage or an idol is to keep it to yourself, don't tell anyone, don't let them know. It's worked for me in the past. If Susie catches me, I'm going to try and parlay into an alliance, because it's really all that I can do. And if I really, really don't like Susie at all and I don't want to work with her at all, I'll just try and get her out. If I have an advantage, Susie's my number one, I got to have her, I'll play the advantage to keep her in the game. If I truly think that that's what benefits me the most. If I think that her being in the game is more important than me having an idol that'll save me for an extra vote, then I'll do it. But this is a hard question to answer, because it truly does matter so much when in the game it is. Like, I can afford to lose my number one at the final 5. If anything, that might actually be good for me, because then I don't have to vote them out, and then I have someone on the jury who's going for me, which I did not have last time I played. If it's early in the game, I'm going to try a lot harder to keep her than later in the game. I'll answer it that way, but it's so circumstantial. Strategically, I do think that I will be among the best, if not the best. I'm an accountant. I'm very good with numbers. I could run that very quickly. And I feel like a lot of the time you hear people in Survivor getting like confused, like, wait, what's the count? How many votes do we need? I could do that like the back of my head, as I'm sure many other players can. That's not unique to me, but that is something I'm very strong with. And then I also I understand game theory very well. I understand if I make this move, the ripple effect is going to be most likely this, and this. The most difficult, the weakest part of my game is the social aspect. I mentioned like I want to be like the cool, chill dude everyone likes, everyone's having fun getting around with. But the problem is when that's your baseline personality, people don't like it when someone who's like that then stabs them in the back. So I think socially it's going to be a very tight rope trying to balance in between, hey, I'm your cool, chill friend, but I'm also going to vote you out and probably laugh doing it. Maybe not out loud, but at least in my head. I think the viewers can look for someone who's going to play like it's their second time, because in a lot of ways in the world of LRGs, it is. And while I am going to coast in the pre-merge, I'm telling you right now, that's my goal. If I can make it to the merge, I'm going to splash. And I can think of a few different scenarios in my last game where I felt like I could have made a move that maybe would have changed things in my benefit, but I didn't because I was afraid. I'm not afraid anymore.
Beautiful. Will Jon survive being stranded? Only time will tell.
Bye-bye.